one. Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm here with the Wolf, and this is just general share advice and not personal. Wolf, really quiet day, so far, and again, we've seen a little bit of FOMO, and we're talking about CDR. Woohoo! I mean, in all fairness, it's come from what, a market cap of 8 million to 4 million to 6-7 million. So when you look at that, it's up 83%.
Yep.
You can sort of get it, right? But like you said, it's just rock chips and nothing more. So and they've got 3 million in cash, so you can understand why. Yeah, okay, it's having a little bit of a leap of faith. Yeah.
It's that we come to some point in time where there's a spotlight on a particular industry or particular metal, and they go because it's like a light, and it attracts all the moths, and moths are all the FOMO traders. So it does that. Once the lights get switched off, you got to get out, pretty much.
Wolf, Soul Pats, just holding above trend, came out with an announcement. I think things are generally going well for their group of stocks. Brickworks and sort of New Hope. They're generally speaking having a pretty good year.
Yeah, but mind you, if you actually look through that presentation today, it's now a very complicated business. They've got so many little business units.
Yeah, I know they do.
Crazy, yay! It's like I'm thinking, wow, diversification, and there's just so many different things going on there that sometimes you're thinking, okay, it might be one of those steady as she goes type companies from now on.
Yeah, well, it feels like that a little bit with so much going on. But historically, what I like them is that I think they've lifted their dividend every year, haven't they, for the last 100 years or something?
Yeah, they've been very good in that regard. They've been one of the best run companies on the ASX, and you know how much I put an emphasis on the management.
Yeah, definitely. And ALK came out with an announcement, but unfortunately it's just below trend. It's just not doing enough for us at the moment, Wolfie. But like you said, arguably still possibly could be in the crosshairs of bigger people around. NTO, what's going on there? It's slightly up, still going sideways a little bit. Wolf, what's the latest with the takeover?
I think the previous interested party has increased their offer potential to $2. But it's trading at 211, right? So presumably the other party that's also been in it is going to probably move it up if that's the case, if this is, deemed to be superior. So that's why the market's always expecting this is going to go higher. $2 is just too low for NTO, but we'll see what happens.
Wolf, Big Tin Can, a takeover offer, and they've said thank you very. Well, they said thank you very much. We're going to use that as an opportunity to raise some money. A genius move by Big Tin Can, or?
I'll tell you what. I mean, does it sound a little bit sus to you, Dave? Guys, we've got a takeover offer. Share price goes up. We're going to raise some cash, and then no, we don't have a takeover offer.
Well, have they actually said we don't have a takeover offer?
Well, they said that it had something, but it wasn't complete. It wasn't quite good enough, and they pulled it out. But so obviously they really stuffed themselves up in a way.
But surely to announce the ASX, and we do know a little bit about it, there's got to be something a little bit more solid than a rumor.
Yeah, well, there always does. Apparently, they've said that they were talking to another party, right? But
in the
it
pub?
was plurally nature. maybe.
Yeah, mate, I'll buy you.
How much do you want? $2? I go, whatever.
Yeah.
But look, hard to not be a little bit of, thinking to yourself, what's going on? You've got to question it. When you see that time, you got to question it. But I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Okay. We will leave that. Now, Levisa, you don't like cheap jewelry. I just want to know if
and expensive CEOs.
if the CEO is announced today, He's on 23 million a year. Is he buying Lavisa jewelry or is he going to Cartier? I don't know.
With in fairness, it's 21.
Okay, let's stop. Oh, that's different. Then
It's good. Bye.
then maybe Lavisa's all he can afford.
Yes. No, I mean, look,
Future.
Dave, I don't want to, I mean, it's obviously not my favorite company because I don't really understand this side of the business, right? The cheaper jewelry, the affordable jewelry, let's call it. But when you've got, just reading through the top 50 CEO pay packets and you see Lavisa up there when it's not even a big company, and there is supposedly a class action from the workers. They say, toxic working conditions, and we're getting underpaid, and he's getting 21 mil. There's something not quite right. So does it make me even more?
Yeah, in all fairness, I know Claude quite likes this story, right? But I think even Claude will be pretty anti it now. To be honest, I know what he's like. He wouldn't like this at all.
Unless they turn into some sort of a CSL, I could understand it. No, I can't understand it at this stage why he's getting paid so much.
All right, Wolf, and I just having a look at the market in general. You can see I think the small caps are slightly down. Our market's slightly up, but being held up a little bit by BHP and Rio, as you said, doing reasonably well today.
Yep.
But generally speaking, we've just gone through the 300. And it all looks a little bit drab, doesn't it?
It does. And I think we get that sort of malaise at this time of the year anyway, if there's nothing's happening. So it usually leads on from what the markets are like. And unfortunately, we got a bit of a pullback because we had a pretty good November, right? Previously, I think previous months, we had almost like going on the upside in December, but this one on the downside. So unless there's a strong somewhere or maybe some sort of turn of events where we'll see a pop to the upside, I just think we're just going to drift like this till Christmas.
Yeah. Now, but I think we can talk about some stocks which I think are looking sort of reasonably nice. Now, Wolfie, all the news at the moment, it's all about copper. So there's this issue. There's a issue at the moment in Peru, and I think one of the biggest, second biggest, I believe, copper producer in the world, if that's right.
Yep.
There's talk about massive
shortages, also
massive. Yeah, and so you've really got to like SFR break above resistance and possibly could go back to $7. I think this is certainly well worth looking at. If you're would you say this is the most purest, largest sort of play that we got in Australia that only does copper?
Yeah, now that OZL is gone, was going to go to BHP, I'd say so, yes. So there's nothing else out there really that you can go, this is really good copper play. It's just really strange because we are such a big mining nation, right? But really there is nothing pure copper play at all, apart from SFR, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's quite a nice trade, isn't it? And different traders could have different stop loss. If you want to go really tight, you could be just below that sort of 544 level, or you could just go 512. But I think just the general feeling with copper at the moment, I just feel that there's more upside there. There is.
The thing is that, look, if you're going to play pure copper, probably SFR is the way to go. If you're looking for a bit of diversification, of course, the BHP's Rios, but also S32. It's got a very nice copper output. So if you want to have a look at that also, it's not a bad little play.
Listen, and it's not terrible chart either. And obviously BHP has copper, and it's also iron ore is doing reasonably well as well at the moment, and possibly could retest that 50 at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think when I'm looking at the charts, Wolfie, at the moment, I know it's a little bit more sort of, dare I say, volatile than BHP, but I think it's looking fairly good, that SFR.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, if I'm going to be looking for copper around ASX, you can't go past SFR, really.
Definitely not. And then I think if I was going to look at gold, And I know we're scratching our head a little bit with gold because it's up and down.
Every day.
But I just don't think, I know so we reset our stop loss on Newcrest to make sure we're making some money. But I still think if you like gold and you're looking for a gold trade, and gold was, I think it was up above 1800 overnight. Again, this is one that we could look at as well. I mean, I think it's got a little bit more upside. You've got a nice little stop loss if you're trading it just under that 2066. I don't think that's a bad little gold play to look at either. And maybe the world that we live in at the moment, I know trading gold is hard, but I don't know, it's something I like about having a bit of gold, to be honest with you.
Doesn't hurt to have a little bit in a portfolio, is it? Just in case.
Well, you just don't know. The world's just going mad, isn't it? And the one we put on yesterday as a trade, that AIZ. I mean, I know it's early, but I quite like it because it's bounced above trend, and it's just following the correct theme at the moment, isn't it? The sort of money that these businesses are making. So with Air New Zealand, when would they be coming out with their next sort of announcement?
Oh, good question. Because they are New Zealand based, you know what the reporting season's like all over the shop, which I could never quite grasp. But let me have a quick look at Air New Zealand, AIX, I think it is, in New Zealand. So let me just have a look when they report next. Air New Zealand, and we'll have a look. And I love the fact you always put me on the spot and expecting answers like this, but I can't in this instance. So updates half-year earnings guidance, and guidance is, let me see. So that was 2023. Okay. The 31st. I think just looking at it, they might be coming out with their report in February, I think.
Okay, so yeah, you can see from their last announcements they're doing well, and I really still like that trade. And I think if if you didn't jump into it yesterday, I still think possibly it's worth looking at. So Wolf, we'll just leave it at that. Today's pretty quiet. I think that SFR is one to go on. I think we're going to put a buy out, and I think we just pay the copper FOMO, right? Which I don't think is FOMO. I think it's real. It's real, right?
Oh, look, at least with copper, it's the main metal. It's not like a little fad that goes around. Yeah. Copper, once it gets a little bit of support behind it, usually can last for quite some time. So, got it. Understand.
And I think you got a nice risk reward there, and you could, buying at 560, you have stop loss if you want just under $5, and target 690. I think the risk reward is pretty good.
Yeah.
On that note, Wolf, I think that's it, really.
Yeah. Except don't forget to join us for Ask the Analyst. Very, very important that you do that.
At 12 o'clock today. Thanks, Wolfie.
Thank you.
All right. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.